Net effective rent is an increasingly common marketing tactic for landlords in New York City. Net effective rent is the average monthly rent during the lease term. The net effective rent is calculated by dividing the total amount of rent payable during your lease term by the number of months in your lease. Landlords list the net effective rent as opposed to the gross rent as a way to lower the sticker price on their apartments and increase the amount of eyes and foot traffic on their units. What does net effective rent mean? Net effective rent is the average monthly rent you pay during the term of a lease. If a landlord is offering you a free month, you'd still typically pay the higher or gross rent every month except for the month which is free. On average, the amount you pay each month is the net effective rent. Faced with high rental broker fees, many renters in New York City are understandably suspicious of net effective rent and unsure whether or not it's a good deal or a gimmick. The truth about net effective rent being lower than gross rent is that it does save you money on average during the course of your lease. Despite the real savings on offer when net effective is lower than gross rent, many renters are still unhappy when they find out that the monthly amount of rent they must pay is still usually the gross rent, except for the free months. Here's an example of a net effective rent language for a rental listing in Lower Manhattan. Asking rent, $7,791 a month. Price is net effective with 1 month free on an 18-month lease. Gross rent is $8,500 a month. Half month free for every 6 months the tenant signs on for. In this example, you'd pay $8,500 a month for 11 months, and then $0 for the 12th month of the lease. The average rent you'd pay during the lease term is $7,791 a month. How do I calculate gross rent from net effective rent? Here's an easy example. If you sign a 12-month lease at $3,000 a month, but the last month is free, your total rent over the course of the lease is 11 times $3,000, which equals $33,000. Dividing $33,000 in rent over the 12-month lease term gives you a net effective rent of $2,750. In this example, you'd still need to pay $3,000 a month for 11 months. In fact, you'd never actually pay $2,750 a month at any point during the lease. The figure of $2,750 a month is simply the average monthly rent you pay during the lease term once you've factored in the free month being offered by the landlord. Is the broker fee based on gross rent or net effective rent? The broker fee is almost always based on the gross rent as opposed to the net effective rent. This is because the lease itself will usually list the gross rent. The net effective rent never actually appears on most leases, since it's more common to list the gross rent and just include language about the free month or months being offered by the landlord. Thinking of renting an apartment in New York City? Save money on your next rental with Houzit. Houzit has saved New Yorkers millions of dollars in commission since 2014, and we'd love to help you too. Subscribe to our channel and check us out at www.houzit.com.